Namaste, good afternoon. Continue the Vedic tales. I read this earlier, but I'm going to reread this and I'll put a little commentary at the end. So this is Harishchandra. King Harishchandra of the Solar Dynasty is mentioned in the Markandeya Purana as a pious and truthful king. Once, while he was hunting, Harishchandra unknowingly disturbed sage Vishwamitra, who was meditating. Harishchandra apologized to the sage, who demanded a large sum of money. Harishchandra, ever true to his word, gave all his land and other valuables away. As he prepared to leave the palace with his wife and son, sage Vishwamitra demanded more from him. Having nothing left, Harishchandra promised to give him the amount within a month. He then went to Kashi with his wife and son, but Vishwamitra followed them there. At the end of the month, having nothing with which to fulfill his promise to the sage, Harishchandra sold his wife Shaviya and son Rohitcha, and himself became a servant of a Chandala who tended the dead bodies in the crematorium grounds. Harishchandra was directed to collect fees for every dead person he cremated. One night, Harishchandra's wife came there to cremate their son who had died of a snake bite. But Harishchandra would not let her cremate their dead son, for she had nothing to pay. The Devas, seeing the dedication of Harishchandra and him honoring his word, took him, Harishchandra, his wife, and his son to heaven. Harishchandra became immortal, and thus to this day his name is associated with truthfulness and uprightness. Now, what's interesting about that is the story sounds very cruel, because he kind of gave up everything, and he lost his family, and he did end up having a good consequence at the end, a good result at the end. But what this talks about mainly is when you give somebody your word or you do something that is wrong, you need to atone for it. You need to own up to it, correct your mistakes, and then work towards improving your karma. And that's what's the most important thing. We are all going to make mistakes, myself included. I make mistakes all the time. And what I try to do is I own up to it. I learn from the mistakes. And then when you learn from the mistakes, you can move on and become a better person. A lot of it comes down to the fact that many people read these stories, but yet don't really practice them as much as they should. The point of these stories is to practice your Dharma, do your best, uphold the truth, be honest, be fair. If you give somebody your word, keep your word. And I'll go into more detail with more of these other stories. But that's kind of what's very important for everybody whenever you read these stories. So I hope that kind of explains this story about Harishchandra a little bit better. Namaste.